Oh, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again. I am really excited to have Molly Marie on the call today. She's a boudoir photographer in Wisconsin, right? Eau Claire?
Eau Claire,
Eau
Wisconsin.
Claire. Awesome. I said it all wrong. I'm from Minnesota, like just across the border. I've met Molly in person finally at WPPI, and I was so excited to have her on the call. She's doing so many awesome things in her own business. We're going to talk about some really cool marketing tricks she's doing, the importance of scaling your business through outsourcing, and she's actually hired a studio manager I want to talk to her about, and that scary process of deciding, you know what, now it's time to grow, and what that's enabled her to do in her business. So stay tuned. We've got some awesome things coming. Molly, welcome to the show.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. So let's dive right in. So tell me a little bit about how you became a boudoir photographer.
Woo! Okay. That is the question of all questions. I started out actually doing weddings. I don't do weddings anymore,
Yep.
but I did start out doing weddings, and one of my brides came to me and she said, Molly, I want you to take pictures of me in my lingerie. And I was like, why? I had no idea what boudoir was.
Yep.
And she was like, oh, I rented this hotel room. Like, well, it'll be so much fun. And I never really turn things down. I'm definitely a yes person. So I was like, sure, let's do it. Showed up at the hotel, and I think I was more nervous than she was.
That's awesome.
Um, I thought I was so nervous, and I loved it so much. It was not only fun during the shoot, but just seeing, I will admit she was not nervous, but just seeing how her overall confidence and everything changed.
Mhm.
I don't know, I just love that boudoir is so rewarding, and that's definitely how I got into it and why I now specialize in it at my studio. So.
That's awesome. So how long ago was that?
Ooh, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep. And so now, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like crushing it. Like you're doing really well. And congratulations.
Good,
Like
yeah.
I think it's so cool. I love talking to people who get it. I think all over the country there are businesses. Like I was visiting Sal Cottage Studio in St. Louis, and I was driving down. No offense to anybody in St. Louis, but I was driving on the freeway, and like, wow, this area is not doing that well. There's a lot of boarded up buildings. There's a
Really?
lot of people out of work, but Sal's bringing in $1 million in his studio in weddings and seniors.
That's
So
amazing.
I don't expect you're doing $1 million in Eau Claire in
You
boudoir,
never
but
know. Just kidding.
um, so tell me about how your business started to grow and when you knew you were kind of on to something.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I'm located in Eau Claire, and there's only 60,000 people in my city. So I don't know how many was in, did you say St. Louis? Or
Yeah,
what city? Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, that's a pretty big city.
yeah.
But we, okay, so I started out, just myself, and I had my first studio was actually in a shared studio space called Banbury, and it's kind of like this old building where it used to be like a tire factory, and they made it into like different studios. And I was doing weddings at the time, and I wanted just a space to just be able to meet with my clients, but that in itself wasn't enough to make me like want to pay for a space because obviously, if I'm just meeting with my clients, it's not going to generate me any more income. But once I photographed that girl's boudoir session, I started doing some more for my brides.
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, okay, one hotel room for a day,
Hmm.
not even, like you get it for like half a day pretty much.
Right.
Because you can only shoot, when there's daylight if you're a natural light photographer, and the check-in's like 4 p.m. So, and
Right.
then you have to check out in the morning. Anyways, it's like almost $300 to get a decent hotel. And so my friend said she was going to get a yoga studio at Banbury, and that for me to split it with her would be $150 a month. And I was like, sold.
Yeah.
It ended up being a very leaky, cold, not good space. So as we grew, but that's, you got to start somewhere, right?
Right.
So as we grew, I moved into actually, yeah, the space I'm in now. I thought there was a third space. Well, oh, I guess my home office, but
Okay.
yeah. So now I'm in a building. It's not like downtown or anywhere. It's just in a small neighborhood.
Yep.
But it works for me because there's still good traffic, and boudoir is something where you don't necessarily want people walking by your windows all the time or, coming in all the time. We're by appointment only. So
Perfect.
Yeah, it works really well. And I renovated the basement. We have about 1,200 square feet now. So.
Good for you. And so you do majority of your shoots are in the studio.
Oh yeah, like
Yep.
so I live in Wisconsin and it's cold for like 9 months of the year. And it snows and it rains and there's tornadoes. I've
Yep.
had to cancel a shoot because of tornadoes, no joke. For real. So, and especially with Boudoir, it's like no one wants to be outside. And so
Right on.
do seniors though, so we'll do July and August we'll shoot outside, otherwise totally all in the studio.
Right on. So I want to pull apart a couple things I want to commend you on. Is I'm a huge fan of bootstrapping, and for those of you that aren't like in, I also love Molly because she's into business as well as boudoir photography, and I think that the business piece, for those of you that subscribe to our videos and our podcast, you know that the business side of photography is the ticket to doing more of what you love. So even if you don't love business, learning just a little bit and applying just a little bit of smart business like aptitude is going to go so far in your business. So, okay, that being said, the concept of bootstrapping is you didn't have to have the perfect studio right away. Like you networked and you hustled with people you knew in your existing network, and you found this situation that wasn't necessarily ideal, it turns out. Like the place was cold and leaky, but it lets you build your business without breaking the bank. You didn't have to mortgage your house. You didn't have to take any huge risks, but then it gave you like the stepping stone to getting into the studio you're in today.
Yeah, and especially boudoir photographers, they'll say to me, "Well, I don't have money for a studio." But when you book a session, you have to pay for a hotel room, the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, we're averaging higher numbers at my studio, but I wouldn't say the majority of people starting out are.
Mm-hmm.
So if your numbers are only $300, $400, and a hotel room is $200, and you have to pay a makeup artist, and you're editing in your software, you're not making any money.
Right.
You're probably losing money. So getting a studio, I mean, depending on what your goals are, it might be a much better money investment.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Even if it's crappy.
Yeah, and just in being like honest with yourself, like instead of taking on the risk, like imagine the pressure there would have been in your business had you been in this studio right from the beginning.
Oh gosh. And actually this studio, when I first got it, I still shared with that same person.
Perfect.
Perfect. And it's all mine now, but
Yep.
sharing with that person was really, really good for me because, I mean, I always take baby steps. I might do it really fast, but I take baby steps because I don't, I want to be able to sleep at night.
Totally.
I don't want to have to be up worrying about how I'm going to pay, my employees or how I'm going to pay my studio rent and stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's transition there into knowing when it was right to hire an employee and how hard that was to like know and make that leap.
Yeah, so I still think about, okay, I have a studio manager and another photographer now, and I think every day to myself, how the hell did I used to do this all by myself? I don't know. But I knew it was time because I do teach photographers online with booty shorts, and I love teaching and helping others. And I knew that I wanted to be able to split my time, at least 50-50. And it wasn't feasible for me to be doing everything myself.
Right.
So I started out first with the studio manager.
Yep.
I wanted to see how, that would go first.
Yep.
And in the first month of her working at our studio, we had the highest numbers we've ever had. She's able to really work with our clients more. Like, I remember I used to get an email, and actually, to give you a short answer, I knew it was time to hire her when it would take me 3 days to answer an email. That's just not acceptable. You have to answer an email within 24 hours.
Right.
So, yeah, and she's able to really answer more questions about what they should wear and just really a lot of details that I just simply didn't even have time for. And I think our sales have been higher because of that. So
awesome. So for somebody who may be on that threshold and considering or working towards hiring a studio manager, what advice would you give them for where to look and how to handle that process?
Oh gosh. So the number one thing you need to do is get a really, really kick-ass accountant. And I love my accountant to pieces. She helped me, she does my bookkeeping and my accounting, but I will talk to her about, if she thinks it's right for me to do a certain thing because she knows my numbers better than anyone.
Right.
And, I do have a financial advisor as well, but she actually gave me advice on how to go about it because it's not just as easy as hiring someone. You have to pay, you have to get workers' comp insurance.
Yes.
And you have to do a lot of extra bookkeeping. You need to, take taxes out of their paycheck and file those separately. And
Right.
I know that you're right now thinking like, oh God, I'm not going to get employees. But I do want to say this. I wish that I wouldn't have waited so long to hire employees because people scared me away from it. They told me that, workers' comp was like a ridiculous amount of money. Like they made it sound like it was $1 million a year. And I'm like, oh, I don't have $1 million a year. And, I'm not going to say it's easy because it's not, but
Right.
If that's your goal and you have the funds and you're like planning with your money, you can certainly do it and it will be a really good investment for your
Right.
business.
Yeah, I think that there's some things like that it's accepted that, oh yeah, we outsource that. Like an accountant is one of the first things. Like I think
Oh my God.
that's such
Yeah,
a really smart like first step. And
Yeah.
if in your business, if you're doing everything, you can't do everything forever. And I think accounting is one of the first things that we all know is smart to outsource when you have a small business. And finding one that is a really good consultant or trusted advisor in more than just that one aspect of just the accounting, but like helping you navigate all those additional services like
He
managing
just
your pay.
cares about my business.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's really good advice.
from day one, I've never done my own bookkeeping.
Yeah,
And
me neither.
both my parents actually own businesses, and they'll be the first to admit like they didn't help me really with anything. Like I did it all myself, but the one thing they did help me with was they said, Molly, you need to get an accountant. There's no reason for you to do your own bookkeeping. And I think my dad went a little bit overboard. He's like, you'll end up in jail. Like he just wanted to scare me, so I would get an accountant.
Yes.
But it worked, and it's definitely the best investment I've made. She actually made me like Excel spreadsheets so I could more easily pay my employees and things like that.
Perfect.
But I know that's getting a little boring for those of you listening, but it is, it's
so
helpful.
important. No, I'm thinking in my head the headline of this blog post would be like, don't go to jail. Follow this advice from Molly and Marie.
Don't
End
go
up
to
in
jail
jail.
by Mike Kaiser.
Totally. Okay, that's perfect. This is all really good stuff. Okay, now let's transition. You say a little bit about becoming a teacher too, because you're putting some awesome resources online. We're going to link to a free posing guide that you can give away. All you guys have to do is subscribe to Molly's newsletter, which is packed full of awesome education, like what we're talking about today, and you get a free posing guide right off the bat, packed with some really good information, not just the pose itself, but how she created it with her camera settings and stuff like that. So tell us a little bit more about Booty Shorts and being a teacher.
Oh gosh. So yeah, I've always loved teaching, and even when my business was smaller and I didn't have a blog or anything, I did do some like live workshops at my studio, and people just kept coming to me, wanting to know how I ran a successful studio.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of studios I see that have been in business for like 20, 30 years, and they're all kind of going under. It's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to not only help those people, but like people starting out too. So I started out just doing kind of like a little bit of workshops in my studio, and I started out by starting my blog.
Awesome.
And I write a lot of articles about business and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a few things about posing, and I do have that free posing guide. But I am definitely a get down to business girl. Like if you mentor with me or take any of my workshops, yeah, we'll have fun, but we're going to get down to business because it's serious. And I really, really want to see you be successful. Like I don't want you to just get this free posing guide and, stick it on your desktop and never read it.
Right.
I want you to actually read it, and it's not just pictures in the posing guide, like it's actual text that tells you how to interact with your clients and things like that are also going to help your sales as well. So
that's awesome. I love it because sales starts like right away. That's so smart.
Oh yeah, from the first email for sure.
I love it. Okay, very cool. Well, you guys be sure to check that out. You've got other things coming up, and I'm going to save that. I think when those other booty camps launch, I think
Hmm.
I'm going to have you on the call again. We'll talk more about
Okay.
what's
Yeah,
coming.
let's do it.
Okay, so you guys stay tuned for that in the future on both of our lists. Okay, let's transition into marketing. You are a marketing guru. I think you've got some really awesome ideas. Let's start first with this trade show. So you do a lot of trade shows. We met at a trade show when I was doing at WPPI. It takes a lot of energy. So how are you doing it for your niche market? And what are some tips for people who are on the fence, who are afraid to invest that much money?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I will say this: there's a lot of expos, and not only expos, but just events. So
Okay,
it doesn't necessarily need to be like an expo.
right.
I noticed that things that are called expo typically cost a lot more money than things that are called an event.
Okay,
So I know I live in a small town, but even if you live in a larger city, there's going to be a variety of prices of events and expos. And I'm not saying like you need to do all $2,000 expos. In fact, we don't do any $2,000 expos.
hmm
We do events and expos that are like $200 or less.
hmm
And I think they're really small, and so I think a
right,
lot of people think, oh well, if there's not a million people at this expo, I'm not going to book anyone. But that's actually the exact opposite. We in
right,
fact just did recently our only expo that we did not book a lot of people at, and you know why? Is because there was too many people there.
right.
We couldn't even like talk to anyone because there were so many people coming and going. Um, at the smaller expos, we have a really, we'll book like, even 10 shoots. So just to give you an example of some things you could like Google for or look for in your city, ladies' nights out, a
hmm
lot of businesses, hotels, restaurants, things like that, they'll do ladies' nights out. The other thing is to find networking groups in your city and like become part of them, and they'll tell you about expos. The other
hmm
thing too is, don't be afraid to, like, if you see a business in your area and they're at every single event and they're at every single expo and you're like, how do they do it? And you're constantly like, okay, Laura, they're at this event, so we'll do that next year, just give them a call and ask them,
Yeah.
what expos are you at this year? I'm Molly Marie with Molly Marie Photography, and we love your business, and we think it'd be really cool. We have a lot of the same client base. We'd love to have like to know which expos you're at because it might be fun to have a booth by you, and we could
hmm
network from there and stuff like that. So, don't be afraid to call people, even if you live in a small town. Like, people generally are really nice, so just
Yeah.
give them the benefit of the doubt, and just make friends with everyone. And yeah, find out about. So, ladies' nights is one. We do some bridal fairs.
hmm
We don't do bridal expos like the ones where like tons of people are at. Um, I think it's mainly just ladies. Oh, and then, a lot of places that have like a lot of small businesses, they'll just have like a shopping night. And it's a lot of like Mary Kay type stuff.
hmm
But it's actually still really beneficial to us. So that's
That's
kind of
awesome.
how we find our
That's
expos.
really good advice. Okay, so key thing is, and I can echo that sentiment myself. Also, I've been to a wide range of shows, and I did the two giant ones this year, and it's weird how it was. We had great responses at the big shows, but at smaller ones, it's more intimate, and I can spend more time
Yeah.
with fewer people. But by being able to spend the more time, it converts more into more people resonating with your message and connecting with you. So
Yeah. We
so
actually did, so we did that giant expo.
yeah.
It's the only expo we've ever done where I don't even think we booked one person. We've never had that before.
Yeah.
And then I did this really small craft fair. There was literally 3 tables and maybe 6 people, and I booked 3 photo shoots, and it cost me $10. $10. 10.
That's so
So
awesome.
yeah.
What a good example. Yeah. So start small again and baby step it. And then I think there's so much good advice here. One is the value of building relationships with other businesses in your area. And they can be your guides too. Like, not only can you share and cross promote with each other, but just picking up the phone and taking them out to lunch or taking them out for a coffee. One, you always want to start. I remind people, you always want to start with how you can help them.
Yes.
Start with what's something you can do for them instead of just asking for me, 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 me. And then once you're building this kind of give and take, it's just there's so many obvious ways, and it's not obvious until you have the conversation. And they'll be like, "Oh, well, we're going to this expo, and you should totally go to this one, and you should like." That is worth so much to your business. Okay, so when you go into an expo, how do you prepare? Like, what do you have? How much did you invest in your booth, and how do you plan that all out?
So this is the part that gets most people. I actually used to have this huge booth that I spent all this money on, and unfortunately, that booth is no longer with us.
Nice.
But sounds really funny. But here's the thing, though. I actually, what I do now is I don't want to carry all that stuff.
Right.
I don't want to carry like a wall and a couch and a table and all this stuff. All we do is we have the table that they provide us. We put actually the same gold sequin backdrop that I have behind me,
Yeah.
covering up my lovely closet full of business cards. We put that on the table, and then we have like our boxes and our albums and things like that, and our sign. And then we'll get into this later, but an iPad with like sticky albums and stuff on it.
Awesome.
And that's pretty much all we have. We go for like a really simple, minimalist approach because we want to talk to people. That's like our goal.
Right.
Our goal isn't to, I don't know, get people to, our goal isn't even to get them to pick up our products. Honestly, our goal is to talk with them and befriend them. And we don't have to be salesy because if they like us, they're going to want to know more about us. So.
Totally. That's a really good advice. I love it. Simpler is better. Simpler is like, it scales so much better. Oh, it's really good.
Your
Things to
booth was
keep in
good
mind.
and simple too.
Yeah.
Had the chargers, loved it.
Oh, that was so huge. I was paying to like all these other charging stations. I'm like, that worked out well, especially at imaging. People loved our charging stations. And I was like, I can build these for free or for like $20. So I would recommend that to anybody out there who's doing any expo. Go to Amazon. You can buy like the box with a couple cables so that when people stop to talk to you, they can plug their phone in and charge their phone. Like people
They'll talk longer.
They go nuts for it. Like, oh my God, I want like because phones like die constantly you walk into a trade show and it's like your battery just goes to zero. So okay, really good stuff. So now anything else on trade shows? Let's see. Do you like do a lot of like handouts, or do you spend a lot of money on business cards and?
We do like a deal at all of our trade shows. Okay. Do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So what we do at our trade shows is we have a deal going on so that they'll act that day and book their session that day. Totally. Because, if you're just saying like, hi, I'm Molly Marie Photography, love you, bye, they're never going to get in touch with you. So what we do is I bought a bunch of these glittery tote bags from Nine West.
Yep.
And I'm not like directly selling the bags. So yes, it is legal. But what I did is I bought, I don't know, hundreds of them. They're big and they're glittery. And inside the bag, is a price list and then also a gift card for the photo shoot and $100 credit at our studio. And all they need to do to get the bag with the session and the credit and they get hair and makeup too. Mm-hmm. All they need to do is it's $89.
Yep.
They have to pay us via credit card that day.
Yep.
And they have to schedule their session that day. We have a Google Calendar, and we take payment via PayPal or Square. And we'll get them all scheduled. And, if there's a few people that are like, oh, I'm not sure if that day will work, we're like, well, tell you what, we're just going to get it on the calendar. We can reschedule it one time for you for free. And after that, it's, X, Y, Z. So that's how we get people to book that day because, if you're doing like a drawing and you're getting people's names and you're putting them on the email, that's great, but it's not going to translate into as many bookings.
Totally. That's genius. Yeah, I think getting people once you've made that connection, like that, to some people that can feel like a hard sale, but when you just have time to connect with somebody and they're interested and they're like, yeah, this is awesome, I want to do this for myself, then let's hold it. Like, there's nothing better than taking money on the spot like that.
Yeah, and we're not, they don't walk up to our booth and we're like, hey, buy this purse,
Right.
We only put out like one or two purses because otherwise people think we sell purses. We put out one or two, and then what we do is when they come over, we just talk to them.
Yeah.
Like I'll even just ask sometimes like, how's your day going?
Right.
I just want to act like chill and be friends with them and if they like me, then they're going to want to hear more about what I do. There's a million photographers, and how you set yourself apart is you.
Yep.
So just get to know people and have fun.
Oh, I love it. Good stuff. Okay, so then you've got some really cool ways you're using sticky albums in your business. Let's walk through those also.
Okay, cool. I'm really excited to talk about it, obviously. But I'm excited because I haven't really shared this with many people at all. So it's new and exciting. But what we do is for each of our clients, we create a sticky album for them. But the cool thing is that we actually don't tell them at all that they're going to get a sticky album. Yeah. What we do is we do their session. And at my studio, we actually do same-day viewing and ordering. So they're going to place their order that day, and then most people pay in full. If they do a payment plan, we'll give them the sticky album once it's paid in full. That's just important because I don't want you giving away your work.
Right.
But once their order is paid in full, we tell them that it'll be up to 3 weeks for them to get their album or box that they've ordered.
Yep.
What we do in the meantime is we make them that sticky album. Like they'll almost have it sometimes before they get home or the next day.
Yep.
And they just freak out because, they're already on cloud 9. Like a lot of women will even write us saying that they cried in their car because they couldn't believe how beautiful they looked. And like, they're already just like so happy. And just to make it even better for them when they get home is just amazing. And I've had people email us back, well, always right away being like, thank you. But some people are like, I just can't believe that's me in the pictures. I can't stop looking at my sticky album, stuff like that.
Yep.
And they will say it's hard for them not to want to show their significant other the sticky album, but we always are like, hold on, show them the box. But
right on.
They love it. And
that's awesome. Because for that bridging that gap is so clutch, especially in Boudoir. And one of the tips I've heard for that is if you get a lot of people coming in last minute, where they like for an anniversary or Valentine's Day, you're not going to be able to have the box or the printed stuff done.
No, you're right.
Then they have something they can show.
We actually have done that with a few clients so Kelsey's my studio manager, and where like I've done the shoot and everything, and they were planning on doing like an anniversary, but they switched it to Valentine's Day, which is like tomorrow. Or even with headshots too, a lot of people that own businesses, they don't got time for that. They want their photos right away. So we'll send them the sticky album and the digital. So
perfect. That's really cool. So I think there's a couple things that are so clutch there is the surprise factor. So sticky albums are designed as a marketing tool to boost word of mouth, and people do get nervous about, photographers get nervous about like digitals and it impacting their print sales, but you're not giving it to them until they've completed their purchase.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you said that, because I will talk a little bit about our pricing because it's really important. I know people are scared of selling digitals, and they're scared of, just like you said, people thinking that they're going to steal the sticky albums or something like that. But the thing is they get the digitals of the photos that they purchase.
Right.
So if they purchase 20 photos in an album, they're going to get those same 20 photos digitally.
Yep.
You can't buy digital photos at our studio unless you buy them with a product.
Perfect.
That's just the way that it is. And the sticky album that we send them, it's only of the photos that they purchase.
Yep.
We're not giving them anything extra. It's already what they've paid for, so there's no way that they can even possibly steal it from us.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then, after you've been doing this a little while, so then do you get people that come in? Do you have any anecdotal stories of like people who've seen their girlfriends, or they've seen somebody else, they've seen their sticky album?
Yeah, so what we do with our sticky album is on the bottom, so we have all the photos, and they look lovely, and then on the bottom we have an image that we've designed.
I'll post that image in the blog post. Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. And it says something like, we would love to have more awesome clients just like you. And it says, if they refer, Sally for a photo shoot, Sally gets $100 towards her photo shoot.
Yep.
And then our past client either gets a facial from the spa or a massage or $100 towards her next photo shoot.
Perfect.
And so it's a really good incentive for them to not only share it with their friends, but the cool thing is, they now know about our incentive if they haven't already heard of it. But
Yep.
then all the people that they've sent it to, like our first customer who showed it to 74 people,
Yep.
74 people now have had the opportunity to take action on that $100 credit.
Right. That's huge. I love it. Okay, very good stuff. And then finally, I think pulling that last part of to the surprise factor. So when people they're so emotional, and I love talking to again the same day delivery, like huge. The fact that you're like closing the deal the day of at a show, and then they come in and like they're seeing their images that day. That takes a lot of hustle, a lot of work to optimize your workflow,
Yeah.
but it lets you scale and it adds so much flexibility to your business. So kudos to you for establishing that. I think that's pretty awesome.
It actually makes everything easier,
Yeah.
which is also.
It's so cool. And so in that moment, that's when our clients are so like excited. They're so at the peak of their emotional state. And that is when you want to give them a way to share. Because that's when they're most likely to share, is when they're just like
Yeah.
on cloud nine.
That's
And instead of
exactly
them
how you do it.
instead of them waiting until they've got to wait till their album comes in or whatever, now that within a day, that's the perfect time to hit them when they're hot.
The other thing too is, I love albums and I love boxes, and that's why I sell them.
Yeah.
And people will often ask me, well, why can't I just have the digital files? And my answer to that is, the price is going to be the same. So if you really for some reason don't want the box of the album, that's fine. But here's the thing: is I want them to have a tangible item, because I want them to be able to see the print, not only the print quality for my purposes, because I think that it looks lovely, but I want them to have multiple ways of them to archive their photos and share them with others. But the thing with sticky albums that makes it so great is with an album, even though, I love it and they're going to love it and put it in their nightstand or whatever, they're not going to be able to show many people their album, because, if you're like me, okay, I'm 26, almost 27. I don't have like tons and tons and tons of people over to my house. Like I usually go out and have dinner or go see a play or something like that. And I'm not going to carry my my 8-inch by 8-inch album in my purse with me. I'm going to share them. I'm going to share my photos more with sticky albums. And the cool thing too is like you don't have to have that awkward moment where you're like, "Hey, look at my boudoir photos," and you're both there. Like you can just send them the link and they can look in their own privacy or friends.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier to share. And just like I said with that lady having 74 people look at her photos, there's no way she would have been able to show 74 people her album. She actually moved here from Las Vegas. She sent a lot of them to people from all over, which is great because if I ever wanted to travel for boudoir sessions too, that really opens up
That's huge.
more opportunities.
That's
so.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's touching on a lot of the things. I didn't realize that this would be such a good fit for Boudoir, but for the reasons you talked about, it's such a natural fit where they don't yes, they can post it to Facebook if they want, but it's that personal, direct. Like I can text message the link if I want to, and if I don't even want to let the link get out on the internet, I can just show them on my phone, and it's much more personal. Those personal referrals are the ones that really make a difference.
Yeah, I think that's really important because people with Boudoir, I get a lot of my readers on my blog saying to me, well, how can I get more people to let me use their photos on Facebook?
Right.
And, I think it's important for us as professionals to know and still be happy with your clients, even if they don't let you use their photos on Facebook, because that's part of your job. And with sticky albums, it still lets you get just as many referrals. I mean, I know people are for some reason obsessed with putting photos on Facebook, but to be honest, we've gotten more referrals from sticky albums. People are more apt to, with Boudoir, they're not going to comment on a post and be like, oh, I want to do Boudoir, because then everyone's going to see that. Sticky albums, too, we're able to put our phone number and our email address right on the sticky album, and it's more private. Like they might be looking at it, in the privacy of their own home and just email us when they have the idea like right there that moment. Whereas Facebook, I think it's kind of awkward for Boudoir. So.
Oh, really good advice. That's all. Thank you so much for sharing all that stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with you. At first I was like, man, Boudoir, and then it all clicked, all these ideas, and they're working so well for us. So
That's so good. So good to hear. I love it. Well, I'm going to share one, and I'm going to probably do a whole separate video on this, but I want to give you a teaser because I think you've definitely got the aptitude to just take this idea and run with it. So for somebody, people are doing it in weddings or wedding bridal shows where you already have the hustle to partner, and I probably already have existing partnerships with other vendors who are at these shows. So what you can do is go to them and say, hey, I'm making a digital coupon book. And whether it's a jeweler or a salon or a masseuse or whatever it is, you take, and maybe you've done some images with them already of their location. You build, because you're the one with the Photoshop experience, you build a JPEG with, let's say, it's a $20 coupon for a massage. And then whatever it might be, you can get as creative as you want. You build a coupon for each one of these vendors and you put them all into a sticky album. And so then when you are at this expo or this event, not only are you giving away something cool as a way, if you're not closing the deal right there.
I'm writing this down right now, Nate.
I love it. So you can get it's a way to like politely ask for their email address instead of just ask for it cold. You're like, hey, how would you like a coupon book to save like $500 of stuff from other vendors here at the show? And then you get the email, and then they quick get a reply back with a link to that sticky album with all of those coupons. Really powerful. And if you want to take it to the next level, I love that cheesy phrase.
I love this idea.
You can use a service like callloop.com to set up a short code, like a text short code. And so they could text like booty to 411-411, and then on their phone, you used to have a sign that says do that. It's better. I think it's better than a QR code. And then they on their phones right away, they text that in, and then they get an auto reply back with a link to the coupon book. And then you can also mark it to that phone number via text message if you want to later. But the big thing is just getting them the coupon book. And what's great is you're not the only one pushing this out. Again, when you partner with other vendors, it's one of the simplest ways to grow and scale your marketing reach, because everybody else at the show that you're partnered with, they can be pushing out the same coupon book. And everybody who's done this, there's a number of them have now emailed us back saying, every vendor I put into this coupon book, we've all booked a session or had business as a result. Within 30 days of the event, we all got business from it. So it's just a really simple thing to do. Take some hustle on the front end to build those relationships, but then you've got this great, you're the hub, right? You're the one that built the app. Everybody is so excited to give you a favor going forward.
Kind of marketing idea where it lets me get involved with other people, because so I'm actually not originally from Eau Claire. I'm from Door County, which is like on the other side of the state.
Yep.
And when I moved here, I didn't know anyone. And I remember what it felt like when I would, so the first thing I did was I didn't know anyone. So I actually, I emailed this lady who was a cake baker.
Yep.
And I was doing weddings at the time. And I said, hey, let's take a day where we just drive around to different businesses and introduce ourselves. And thinking about it now, like, that's kind of really funny. But you know what? I did it anyways, because I do whatever I have to do to get my business going. So we drove around, and I got turned down so many times, Nate. Like, I remember this, I went to a bridal store where they sold dresses, and this lady said, and I was like, hi, I'm Molly. And I was like 20 or something, I don't know. And I'm like, hi, here's my business card with terrible wedding photos on it. No, I didn't say that, but it was pretty bad. Like, I was new, and I gave her my card, and she goes, oh, yeah, we already partner. And she like threw it in the garbage. And I was just like distraught. And this happened over and over and over. And I'm not saying this to like make you guys feel depressed, but here's where it gets good, okay? A year later of me persisting and just doing all these things, and I was still getting shoots in the process of all the people, too, that were really nice to me, because not everyone's like that. But now that my business is doing really well from being persistent, all of those people that turned me down are now banging down my door to partner with me. And, I'm okay with that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like that bridal shop lady, she just offered me a space in her and her like she has like a strip mall. It's like a nice
Yeah.
like strip mall where they rent like different spaces only to people that they want to partner with, and
Yep.
it was like kind of a big
It's your
deal.
own like pretty woman moment. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, just like Julia Roberts.
Yes.
But you have to like, I don't know, you have to be persistent and not take things really personally. And partnering with people, it's so important. Like it's gonna get you just even meeting like one new business owner, they're gonna introduce you to more business owners,
Yep.
and they're gonna tell you about different expos and different and like if they're a yoga instructor, you can ask them what they do to market their yoga studio, and then like take those ideas and use them for your photo business,
Yep.
and it's never ending.
So okay, this is so good. I wish we could have started here. This is such a good story. So
Sorry.
no, it's so I love that you brought it up. So having learned what you learned, what would somebody who's I love the idea of grabbing a buddy. Like there's nothing that is a genius hack. If you want to get anything done, like find a buddy to go do it with.
I didn't even like think about it really. I just thought to myself, well, I don't know. I don't even really know why it happened. I think it was more just like I was emailing people and it just happened. Like she was like, oh, well, I want to go meet people too, so I'll go with you.
Let's go do
But
it.
it worked really well because she already knew people in the city.
Yeah.
So it was like less creepy because they were like, oh, well, I already know her, so she's probably a good person too, But definitely, if you do pick a buddy, make sure that there's somebody that the community likes.
Yes.
Because, yeah.
That's good advice. But finding a buddy it's I found like today's call, like when you schedule something on a calendar with somebody else, it's so much harder to just blow it off.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I absolutely recommend like blocking out chunks of your calendar to work on things like this, strategic things in your business. But it's so much easier if it's just for you to be like, oh, I'll do that later. Oh, something else came up. But if it's something you've scheduled together with somebody else, you're so much more likely to get it done. Okay.
Really good
So,
point.
your pitch. So when somebody's walking in cold with a buddy or not, how have you perfected your pitch? Like, what do you start with? How do you introduce yourself?
Okay, so I don't like go to businesses anymore, really. So I remember, even though it was a long time ago, I remember going to all these different businesses, and it wasn't like I perfected some like sleazy salesy pitch to like get them to love me. I simply just went in and I made a note, like if they're busy, you don't want, I mean, it's a business and you have to think like, how would you react if someone came into your business, taking up your time. So
Yeah.
For the businesses where I couldn't purchase something, like a bridal or a senior like prom dress place, obviously I, can't buy like a prom dress. So
Right.
what I did was I just simply waited until they weren't busy and I introduced myself. And some of the businesses I would go online and try to figure out who the owner was before I got there. That way I would kind of know like who to talk to. And I think honestly, if you just kind of step back and look, you can kind of get a feeling for who the owner is. But I simply would just go up to them and be like, "Hi, I'm Molly. I'm new in town." If you're not new in town, you don't need to say that, obviously. But I'm like, "Oh, I'm new in town, and I own a photography studio, and I just wanted to get to know different businesses." That's pretty much all I said. And if I was to go and do it today, knowing that I'm more specialized now, I definitely wouldn't say I'm a photographer. I would definitely say that I do women's portrait makeovers, something that's going to really set me apart because like the number one thing that people get approached by is photographers, I
Right.
swear.
Right.
Especially, stores that sell clothing and things like that. So you want to make sure that they know right off the bat how unique and awesome you are. Otherwise, they're just going to think, you're not holding up a sign with your images. They're not going to know how good they are. And that same lady that I told you that kind of like turned me down or whatever, she actually emailed me the next day telling me how sorry she was because my images were so good and she like assumed that they were terrible. So that just gives you a really good idea of what people think, you need
Right.
to really like spell it out for them how awesome you are.
And I think that's only getting harder. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is such good advice. And here's the good news is you've got to hustle. You're going to get turned down. You got to push through, and you've got to focus on something unique. And there's another video I can post to in this where I talk about another cool technique with building a sticky album is if let's say it's like the cake lady, right? while you're not going to go buy a cake to like say thank you or to get your foot in the door, what you could do, and instead of saying like, so there's two things. One, just introducing yourself as a photographer is a good thing to be conscious of. Like, how else can you say that? Because
It really is.
there's so many people that have come in and done this already ahead of you. So how do you set yourself apart? And how do you make it genuinely sound like because I like that you said already, you weren't in this to just get them to love your business right away. You know that this takes time. It's just about making a connection. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's more about making friends, honestly.
Right. Totally.
Just make friends with people.
Okay. Now here's another hot tip is then instead of doing like a big, you could do like a discount coupon book also, like in an area that can work. But one way to start really simple is you can say, I'm working on getting to know other small businesses, and I've got this really cool new technology where I could build an app just for your business. I could come in and take a few pictures of your best cakes. I can put your logo here, and you could even go on their website and build a mock-up one and show them on your iPad. And be like, here's something I mocked up for you. And on the bottom, all I would do is just say, link to my business, and this is something I would love to do to help your business. It's something you're interested in. And you can imagine, I think that it's important for us to remember as photographers, we've had to move to the digital age faster than a lot of other small businesses have. Like a lot of photographers understand like what a responsive website means. Like what is a mobile friendly
I have
website?
one.
Like
Yay.
there's the cake people, the dress shop owner, they're probably not there yet. They're like, oh, my website, I hate it. Like, I hate having to deal with that person. But when somebody like you, not only are you like a portrait photographer that creates a unique experience for people, that's unique. Oh, and like, you're not just trying to get on my preferred vendors list. You're not trying to give me prints for my window, which I already have too many of. Like, you're offering something unique.
I really truly think that it's the most important to not like go in selling them something.
Yeah.
To
Totally.
either offer them something that's like 100% no value to you, or just because like when you establish a friendship, that's something that's going to last forever, and it's
Yeah.
going to keep repaying both of you for a lifetime. But if you go in and sell them something, that's one thing that's only going to be for that one time.
Totally.
And I know that there's probably a lot of boudoir photographers listening to this thinking like, well, how is this helping me with boudoir?
Yeah.
But the truth is that you just need to get your business out there.
Right.
You don't need to really think, okay, well, how can I directly market boudoir? You need to just get people knowing about your studio. So even if you go in and photograph a cake and make a sticky album, just like you said with a coupon or something like that, now not only the business owner knows about it, all her employees know about it. Everyone, she's going to love your business and tell all of her customers about it. You have that relationship now where you could, go meet other businesses with a buddy.
Yeah.
You could, ask her about what expos she does, all those good things. And yeah, it's all about friendships and networking.
Totally. And if you're hyper focused on the instant return you're going to get, you're not going to get anywhere. Nobody wants to be your friend
Exactly.
if you're just like after the short-term return. Like when are you going to send me? I haven't got any leads yet. When are you going to send me some business? Like, bye-bye. Like that's not going to
That's
work.
my favorite thing that you've ever said, Bate. Because even with people that read my blog, they're like, well, so like I talk about expos a lot, and people will think, okay, well, how can I get a booking today? Like right now, how can I get $3,000 in a day? It's like, okay, take a quick nap and start planning for the long haul, because if you're constantly chasing that that same day client or that same day sale, it's not going to be it's not going to sustain your business
Not at
for
all.
years to come.
Yeah.
You have to plan. Like we're doing a Mother's Day marketing thing right now. We've been planning it for a year. And I'm not trying to scare you, but it's the reality. You need to plan things and
But man, there's so much we can talk about. It just keeps going.
I know I talk a lot.
No, but it's all such a good high value content. Like just the idea of building so people get so short term, and it happens when you overcommit. When you're in a studio, you got too many bills to pay. You're like, oh, I gotta get sales this week or this month, and I get that. I know that's real for people, but the difference is when you have the space in your business to every day work on something that's not about a sale or work this week or next month. It's like I'm planning for something bigger, and like every day you're working on something in the future, right? And that's so much less stress. You get to use more of your creativity. It gets to be done in excellence and look really good and be really well thought out, and you're not like hustling and bothering people. Working for the, like they call it the long tail, like working for the long term is such a more effective use of your time. That's how you
Yeah.
get the multiplier effect,
You know,
right?
you did remind me though how you were like, oh, well, I understand, some people they need to like, oh, well, I have a bill. Like, let's say you got a studio and maybe it wasn't, like
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have enough saved up or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
you're going month to month. I totally feel you. And,
Mm-hmm.
I do have, honestly, my model call product is something that you can get clients in the door like within a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that will get you a lot of clients really fast, but I do still think it's really important to plan things out.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to do a little bit in the short term, and then make sure you're making time to do plan for the long term. That's where you get this the what I call the compound effect. Like you get more return out of just an hour spent in your business. If you
And this kind of actually ties more into the beginning of our conversation, Nate, but you know how you were asking me how if you know when you're ready to
yeah,
get a studio.
yes.
One thing that my accountant and financial advisor told me that is really, really good advice is you need to have 5 to 6 months of money saved for
Mm-hmm.
all of your expenses. So
Yes.
if you don't have 5 to 6 months, times your studio cost and all of your expenses, then it's probably not time for you to get a studio.
Really good. That's a
Um,
good objective measure for
well, I
sure.
just don't want people
To
having
to
to,
jump too soon. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
shouldn't have to get a loan, just do baby steps.
Right. Totally.
Share a space.
Oh, Molly, this is great. I can't wait to have you on again. I think this is going to be a huge hit. Check out the rest of her. Get the free guide. Check out the model call guide she's got. It's genius. It's super simple. It's something if you are in a hurry to get some sales in the door in the short term, there's something there for you as well. Molly, anything else we can add before we say goodbye?
Oh, I think that's it. I would just keep talking all day. So,
Awesome. Well, we'll save it again for next time because there's plenty
awesome.
more. Well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Cheers.